It's been a few days since I was last on the server, and I tell you what, things change fast. Look at this thing. We have an ender. Let's go and check it out. And now it's time to walk down this very purpley looking tunnel, and I spot a lot of ender pearls. We might have to do something about that one. And here we are. We have a beautiful ender. It might need a little bit of work here because I tell you what, that is pretty scary. But let's pick up a few of these ender pearls, let's clear our inventory, and let's mend up our wings and our pick. Well, that was ultra fast, and I now have myself an enderman head. Yes, hello and welcome back to another episode here on the OmathaCraft Season 5 server. It is episode 4, and in today's episode we are going to make some more Omega progress. With 5 episodes in, I think it is time to get redstoning. Here at the base, we have a lot of things going on. For one, we have the massive cathedral, which is still a work in progress, but the main thing that's really beginning to annoy me is this stuff. Stuff everywhere. Chests and chests and chests and chests and chests and chests and chests of stuff. We need it sorted. So in today, we are going to be working on our Omega storage system for this season. I am ultra excited for this project. It is going to be immense. So we have to gather some resources. And resource gathering I have done. As we can see, if we look through these shulker boxes, I have tons upon tons of different resources, especially lots and lots of wood. This stuff here should be hopefully enough for us to craft everything we'll need to build our amazing storage system, which will be going in the cathedral. Now, of course, the cathedral isn't done, and there is still a lot of work to be done on this project, and we will be continuing to work on this further down the line. But in today's episode, I want to get a storage system up and running. We need to be able to sort all of our items, because I tell you what, I am sick of rummaging through all of those chests to find the things I need. Storage systems are always one of those things in the game that everyone ends up needing at some point or another. Some people choose to go for chests like this, and others choose to try and redstonify it. We've gone for a mix of different things through our past OmathaCraft seasons. In this series, we are going to go proper redstoney and get this thing fully automated so it works really, really well. In OmathaCraft Season 1, we had a fairly redstone-ified sorting system, sorting our most commonly used items. In OmathaCraft Season 2, we didn't have any redstone sorting at all. We had all of our storage in one condensed area. In OmathaCraft Season 3, we had all of our storage set up, storing our simple used items without any redstonification. And in OmathaCraft Season 4, we once again had a redstone sorting system to sort all of those good items. So what are we doing this season? Well, like I said, we are getting redstoney, and this is what I'm going to be building. This here is going to be for our general item storage. Those sorts of things you're not going to have chests upon chests of, but you're also going to have still a fair quantity of, and you use regularly. So this is what we have just here. This is our tileable, really compact design, which per module allows for 8 different items to be sorted. As we can see, each one of these chests is completely accessible without needing to jump or finding it difficult to access the chest itself, and it is the same on both sides. Now this is also completely tileable. So as you can see from the cyan concrete, we are going to be having 25 rows for our general items. But then again, we also have items which we need to store in bulk. Things like stone and cobblestone, dirt and grass. We get lots of the stuff, and we need to be able to store all of it, and one chest will not suffice. So for that, we are going to be needing a big bulk storage unit that is tileable and stores our items in shulker boxes. Now, I might play around with this design a little bit more, but this currently is our current setup. So we will be standing down here, and we will be able to see which block is being stored by the block which is displayed above. Then in these chests just here, we will have shulker boxes full of the item. However, if we want just individual stacks, we're able to access the shulker box up here, which will contain a shulker box filling up of those items. This is an absolutely brilliant design. So that there will store all of our bulk items. And then lastly, we have some other things which need to be sorted because they're things we do collect over time. Firstly, things which don't fall into our sorted categories, those items that are no point fitting in our general storage but we might need from time to time, they'll end up in our unsortables. And we'll also have a section for our non-stackables, things like swords, music discs, armour, things that won't be sorted in a general sorting system. So that there is our sorting system setup, and it is pretty long, but that is going to fit perfectly inside of our cathedral. We will also need a way to input all of our items and be able to sort them out so they head to the right category. And for that, we will be building this. This here I have spent a while designing, and this here is our sorting system. So this actually is the logic behind our sorting system. Now I'll be running through how this works a little bit later on in today's video once I finalise the final bits and pieces in this design. But with the general concept design, it is time to head on to the OmathaCraft server, start laying out our plans and where everything is going to go. And here we are. These are the resources that we need to build the general items sorter section. Yeah, that is a lot. That is 11 stacks of hoppers. We've got over 9 stacks of redstone, tons upon tons of chests, loads of redstone resources. But yeah, we have actually made a pretty big dent through all of this stuff. I mean, look at all the stone we've used up. That was full. And we've also used up over a full shulker box full of logs. Yeah, that is a lot of resources. But then again, this is almost half of our storage system. So that makes sense, but we can only stand around talking for so long, so I think we need to grab our chest and start placing them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my plan so far. So I have measured out how long our storage system is going to be. It is 51 blocks long. That is our main storage area, so it's going to start just there and it is going to finish just up there. So that is going to be the complete length of this area, and the width is going to be a bit like this. This here is going to be our free space, and our bottom chest will be at that position just there. So we have this massive gap in between them. That means we still got a big emphasis on the massive space we have around here, and I really want to make that clear. I don't want to cram everything in, and we still have enough for all of the redstone. That is how far the redstone is going to be spreading out in this area, so that is absolutely brilliant and what we like to see. So with that out of the way, I think we've got to do the duty. Let's get in line and let's start placing down all of these chests. So with that first part marked out, this thing is going to be immense. If you imagine that we're going to have 4 chests per row just here and 8 per module like this. So it is going to be pretty chunky, and I wonder how high that's actually going to reach up and fill it up. But the first thing we are going to do is we're going to build up one module just here so we can actually get a really good picture of what this thing is going to look like. Now obviously we are going to be needing blocks to build with, and I've decided to match in with the deep slate theme. I am going to be building using polished deep slate. Now I spent a few days away from the server doing a few bits and pieces, and I turned up on the server, logged onto my base and found this from Cal. We had a box of cobbled deep slate, so I converted all of this into polished deep slate, and some of the materials we'll also need to make this thing up in action, and this is going to be absolutely brilliant. So with all my rambling out of the way, let's get building. This thing is looking pretty immense, I must say. Now I did do what I was going to say I would do earlier, which was I built up one section, but then I got carried away and just extended it downwards. It was a little bit finicky to put up the first section, but once I had that one done, it was super easy just to copy that all the way down, and it was really easy just to build it up layer by layer, which was the way I did that. Now it has meant that we have had to dig through the floor a little bit. You'll see that this storage system actually breaks down underneath. As we can see, if we drop down here, it does dangle below, but eventually we'll be terraforming this entire area, so that of course will not be visible. But yes, this thing is pretty immense. So how does this system work? Well, let me tell you, it is actually pretty simple. The whole point of this system is that we have easy access to 4 chests in 1 block space in width. As you can see, we have a chest down here, we have a chest there, and we also have one up here. And the reason that we need to jump to reach that top chest is because we're going to be building in a raised floor. So we'll actually be on the floor level around this block here, or maybe a half slab above. I'm yet to decide on that just yet. And that will mean we still have easy access to reach those items. So as I was saying, this system is actually quite simple. We actually just have 4 simple impulse SV item sorting systems. As we can see, we have one here, that sorts for the bottom chest. We have a second one here, that sorting for that chest. a third one for that chest just there, and our fourth one, which is actually dangling over the back just there, which is for that chest just there. Now you'll see there's lots of other chests and barrels in between, and that is because we are having to combine this all in a really compact area. This just allows all the water streams to make sure it links up to the correct chest from the correct item filter. But obviously this here is nowhere near complete. This is only a quarter of our whole system. So I guess what that means, we need to replicate this on the other side. Now I have made some big progress. As you can see, we have these two general item sorter modules done. And let's walk back and you will see coming into view, we have our bulk item storage modules done. And then lastly, we have our last few items. So this section here, this is going to be our unsortable items. So items which we don't have a section for in our main storage area. And this area over here, that is going to be for our non-stackables. So they will be sorted out separately, which will give us even more sorting capabilities. Now we have this area in place, and you'll see we've got a whole bunch of water streams which are running around, which actually are set up and ready to be used, which is absolutely brilliant. Now before we start sorting out which items are going to be sorted in which section, which is a fairly big job. We have to fill up all of these hoppers on every single level for every single chest with the right items. We're not going to be doing that just yet because we need to sort out a way that we're going to input items into this system. Now that is a pretty complicated task, and that is because, well, we've got lots of items. We need to be able to sort out our non-stackables, we need to be able to sort out our unsortables, all of this kind of thing. We need to be able to sort them out and send them down the right water streams. So how are we going to go about doing that? Well, we are going to build a nice big chunky redstone contraption just here, and this will be our input module. Now there's no easy way for me to explain this here on the OmathaCraft server, so I'm going to head to my testing world where I built this contraption up, and we're going to take a look at how it works. Now of course, excuse all of the decoration because that is completely temporary and it won't actually look like this, but what we're actually going to be seeing on the surface is really just our input chest just over here. Now we are going to be able to input everything we like into that chest, which is absolutely brilliant. Now you will see there is some redstone at the back which will come above the surface level, so maybe we'll do some decorating to hide that under the ground eventually, but for the moment this is the system. And yeah, it does look pretty complicated. It is fairly complicated, and I'll be sure to link the creator of this module YouTube video down below so you can take a look at this module in full. But what actually happens is this system is a multitude of about 3 or 4 different systems put together. First, let's take a look at the big one. This is the yellow system made out of the yellow concrete just here. Now this does the basis of our logic, and if we take a look in here, you'll see I have a shulker box. This shulker box is full of random items. We have some non-stackables like swords, and then we have a whole bunch of other sorts of items which would be stacked or possibly sorted into our storage. And then of course we also have a shulker box. So let's try and see if we can see the system in work. The shulker box ends up in this shulker box unloader just here, and as we'll see, we can't open it, but that shulker box is unloading. All of the items are being sent into this water stream, which is then being sent into the yellow system. When the shulker box gets emptied, it goes up into this system here and then just gets stored in these chests. That's just a temporary system before we actually link it up to our main system on the survival world. So of course all of our items end up over in this chest just over here, and you will see eventually they're going to start filtering through our actual input chest. So in a way they do go through this system twice. Now once they're in this system, they are going to get filtered down to this shulker box just here. Now shulker boxes can't be put inside of shulker boxes. That is how we sort out our shulker boxes from the collection, because otherwise they'll be put back through this system in case we put a shulker box in here. So as you'll see, I'm trying to click a shulker box in and it won't let me go in. That's for a good reason. That means it will be taken out of this dropper over here and taken and dealt with elsewhere. All our other items are then, as we can see, they are dispensed down here, and then we have a non-stackable detector. Now I'm not going to try and explain how this works because I think I won't do it justice because it's a very clever system. But as you can see, our non-stackables are being sent out of this dispenser just here, and all on our stackables are being sent out of this one just here. So there we go. That is our system sorting 3 different types of items apart. We have shulkers going to a different place, stackables going to a different place, and our non-stackables going to a different place, which makes it really easy for us to send items to different places. So once we then have our stackable items all sorted into groups, what we have here is we have like an item grouper. So if we have lots of the same stack, you'll see they're going to be grouped up together, so items are sent off in a batch, meaning we don't have thousands of items flying across our system at one time. But as you'll see, these items are getting filtered in here, which is absolutely brilliant. And then this water stream will take them around our storage system. As you can see, this was my testing for it just here, but at the moment I've just got them burning on the floor. Now, I've been playing around with a few different options of where we could place our sorter. Now, at first, I thought we could put it very central in the middle, but then the issue arose that a lot of redstone is sticking out of the ground, and another thing, it's not one block centered, which this building is. So that isn't ideal. So I scrapped my plan of putting it in the middle, and I think I'm going to go for just to the side here. Now, this is quite a good positioning. Number one, because that block just there we are looking at, that is where the input for most of the system is going, so it would be right next door to where the items are going to be sent in. We have enough space. As you can see, I've dug out all the space we are going to need, and it doesn't overlap too much into this area back here. Now, obviously, when we build up the entire building, which we are still obviously yet to do, as you can see, there's lots of scaffolding and temporary blocks being placed around, but I'm sure we'll be able to tie in the redstone nicely so it blends in quite nicely. But if it's in the middle, that would make things quite difficult with redstone sticking out of the ground, and it probably look quite messy. And here we have it. It's not completely finished, but it functionally works, which is amazing. So as we can see, we've got it all built up. It might look a little bit different from the testing world, and that is because I've used some different blocks and I've repositioned some of the water streams. They fit in better to our environment here on the server. But let's take a look at this thing in action. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go risky, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 leads in, and I am then going to put my netherite sword in, and what we're going to find is they should go to 2 separate areas. And I do have hitboxes turned on, so hopefully we're going to see some leads fly up through here very shortly. And there we go, I just saw them fly up. There they go, and they went on their way down. Now I really hope we are going to find our netherite swords down in our non-stackables section. So this here is going to be our storage for all our non-stackable items, and let's take a look. There it is. There is our sword. So that has run through a whole maze of different water streams underground. If we take a look under the cathedral, we have mazes of water streams, which looks really, really cool, I must say. All of the items which fly around to different locations. With our sorter now completed, and I tell you what, it looks very minimal from above, but down below there is obviously lots of redstone systems going on, and we also have all of the water streams now in place, meaning this system now technically works, which is absolutely brilliant. But obviously the big task now is to sort out the items. We've got to work out what chest is storing what item and sorting out all of the item filters to make that possible. That is going to be a bit of an arduous task. So to make my life a little bit easier, we're going to head to the testing world and firstly work out which items are we going to be sorting. So here we have it. This took a while, let me tell you that. In this chest here, these are the bulk items I can think of storing so far. Now we have the room to expand this list. We've built enough modules in the survival world, meaning we can have more items if we come across, oh wow, we've got tons of this item, we can store more of it, which is absolutely brilliant. But these are the items I'm going to be storing for that one, and then we have our regular general storage items. Now we have a lot of these. Now I've tried to group them up in sets of 4, and there's probably 1 or 2 items I need to fill a couple of gaps. So these are grouped up in sets of 4. So at the top we have our lines going down, and then we have groups of 4 at the bottom, and I still think of 1 item I can group up with those bones just there. So we'll come across that in a minute, but as you can see in all of these chests I've sorted out all the items that I would like to store, and yeah, it's quite a lot of items, but hopefully this will mean we'll be able to store everything we are going to be using regularly on the server. I'm excited, but also quite nervous to say that I think I've completed sorting out the item filters, which means this system should work. So there's only one way to see if it does, and that is to head over to our input system just over here, and I'm going to put in a stack of dirt just like that, and what we're going to hopefully start seeing is shortly, I'm going to turn on hitboxes so the items are easier to see, is soon we will see items start flying up this water stream over here. Now we must bear in mind that dirt is going the whole way over, and that was our first items flying up. Dirt is going the whole way over to our bulk storage system, so it's going to have to go through all of this side here and all of that side there before it ends up all the way down there where it's sorted. So hopefully what we're going to see is soon we'll see it filtering through, and there we go, it's dropping down, it's going through all the layers, it's checking all the layers to see if that is where it should be belonging, and we saw it drop down there, and soon we should see it flying up that side there. It's now going to check this side. This is quite exciting to see. Now the dirt doesn't come up in 1s or 2s, it comes out in about stacks of 8, I think it is, what I calculated. And what we're seeing is that will go through, and that, as you can see, that's filtering, and it's gone down that chute just there, which means it should soon be popping up just over on there. And I really hope I didn't just pick it up, which I might have well done. But let's fly over here, and there we go. It's actually working. The dirt's coming up that water stream there, it flies down this chute here, it goes into that item filter, and down here, there's a skeleton. But let's have a look, in our dirt shulker box, it is filling up with dirt. That is so incredibly exciting. I'm going to skip maybe that little section there, but I mean, that is so exciting. This means we now have a working storage system, which is so cool. Now, there's only one way. We have to deal with everything we have lying around. As you can see, I've got shulker boxes of different bits and pieces. And I believe this shulker box here is a shulker box full of all sorts. And we are going to put this into the system. This will be our first test to see if this actually works with a shulker box. So what should happen is this shulker box will get emptied and those items will get put into the system. So I'm going to put in this shulker box just here. And hopefully this will work. And we know it's working because the items are coming out of the shulker box. They're flying up this water stream to be re-entered into the system, as we can see here. This is so exciting. Now, this works at hopper pace, meaning there isn't usually an overflow. You might get 1 or 2 items in here, but that is never going to be a problem, which is absolutely incredible. So that shulker is being emptied with all the stuff in it. That's obviously going to take a whole whack of time, but this is absolutely amazing. I tell you what, standing down here and watching this system work is even cooler than seeing it on the surface. I am quite tempted to maybe put in a glass floor or something so we can see the system at work. But look at that, the items fly into the system over there, which then stacks them up. As we can see, that is a stacking system. That is grouping the items up together, so we don't have hundreds and hundreds of items flying around the system at once. It's a little bit more grouped together. It's absolutely brilliant. They then fly off into the system, which is absolutely great. This line here is our unstackables, which does mean that we don't have too many unstackables in that shulker box we put in, so obviously there's not much flying through that system just there. Down there, what we should see is that shulker box is still unloading. There was a lot of items in that one. That will eventually go down that water stream, which we can see just over here. It is this dispenser here, and that takes it all the way down there. And yes, I have just picked up some dirt through the glass just there. So the shulker box will eventually make it all the way back down there, and then it will end up filling up our bulk storage area with shulker boxes, which is absolutely amazing. Wow, this is so exciting. Well, I was just about to start recording, and these guys are down here. It's a bit rude, really. Well, that's that dealt with. But anyways, what I was going to be saying is, look, the chests, they're gone. All of our items are now in the storage system. It is now finished. All our items are in the system. All of the chests are beginning to fill up. As we can see, if we jump into some of the shulkers, they are filling up with all our bulk items. Our chests over here, they've got all our redstone resources piled into them. This is absolutely brilliant. I'm so pleased to have this project done, and to have it done in one episode is an absolute success. So from now on, we're going to be able to easily store and find all of our items throughout the rest of this season, which is an absolute success. But as I finish off today's episode looking like a porcupine, I want to say thank you very much for watching. It's been a bit of more of a redstone heavy rambly episode, but if you've enjoyed this episode, let me know down in the comment section, and why not leave a like, as it really does help out the channel quite a bit. But of course, if you've enjoyed watching today's episode, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.